This happened when I was 17 during a short summer job I picked up at a Walmart in northern Wisconsin. It was mostly stocking night shifts, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The pay sucked, but it was quiet work, and I was saving up for my first car. One night, about halfway through my shift, my supervisor asked if I could clean up an old stock area behind the toy section. Said it hadn't been used in years, but it was finally getting cleared for holiday storage. He gave me a key to the backroom panel door and a flashlight. There were no working lights in that section, apparently. I remember being annoyed about it. The rest of the crew was restocking frozen foods, joking around. Here I was alone with a mop and some broken toys. The hallway behind the toys was narrow, dark, and smelled like damp cardboard. It stretched further than I expected. As I walked in, the flashlight flickered a bit, which was just perfect. I passed broken dollhouses, stacked bins of unsold action figures, and even a few defective teddy bears tossed on shelves. About 30 feet in, I found the end of the hall. There was a crawlspace hatch on the floor, metal with a rusted latch. I wasn't told about that, just sitting there like it was waiting for someone to open it. I ignored it at first, started sweeping dust and organizing boxes, but about 5 minutes in, I heard something. Scraping from inside the hatch. It wasn't constant, just slow, deliberate dragging sounds like long nails on concrete. Then a quiet thud. I thought maybe it was a rat or a raccoon. I crouched down, turned my flashlight toward the hatch. It had a vent-like slot in the middle. I got close, hesitated, and then shined the light through. There was something down there. I couldn't see clearly, but I swear I saw a face. Human-shaped, palpoio smiling. And then the smile twitched. I fell backward, heart pounding, the flashlight clattering to the floor and spinning. I didn't even scream. I was too stunned. Then I heard something worse. A voice from inside the hatch, whispering. It said, "Don't leave. You opened it. You saw me? Now I see you." I was done. I left the broom, the mop, everything, and ran full speed back to the break room. Told my supervisor I was sick and clocked out early. The next night, I refused to go near the toy section. A few days later, I casually asked an older employee about that back hall in the crawl space. He went quiet, then leaned in and said, "They sealed that hatch 12 years ago. A maintenance guy went down there during renovations and never came back up. They found his clothes, but not his body." Some doors are meant to stay shut. It was just after 10:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, the kind of dead silent night where the air feels heavier than usual. I had stopped by a 24-hour Walmart in a quiet town outside Little Rock, Arkansas, just to grab some cold medicine and a frozen dinner. The parking lot was nearly empty, just a few scattered cars sitting under flickering street lamps. The store looked almost lifeless, except for the soft hum of neon blue signage buzzing overhead. Inside, it felt even more deserted. I think I only saw one employee up front, half asleep behind the register. The overhead fluorescent lights gave everything that pale, sterile glow. It was quiet. Too quiet. No music playing, no intercom chatter, just the distant squeak of my cartwheels echoing through the aisles. I was heading to the pharmacy section near the back when I noticed something strange. As I passed aisle 17, where they keep cleaning supplies and bulk items, I caught a glimpse of someone standing perfectly still at the far end. Not shopping, not moving, just standing. They were wearing one of those navy blue employee vests, but their back was turned to me and their body seemed stiff, almost too stiff to be natural. I shrugged it off and kept walking. But a few minutes later, while I was reading the label on a bottle of NyQuil, I glanced up. And there they were again. Just standing halfway down the pharmacy aisle, facing away from me. Same blue vest, same creepy stillness. There was no sound of footsteps, no cart, just suddenly there. I cleared my throat. a little nervous now. Hey, can I help you? No response. No movement. I backed away and turned the corner quickly, heart starting to race a bit. It felt like the temperature dropped in that moment. I don't even remember grabbing the food I came for. I just headed for the front. That's when I realized the cashier was gone. The front registers were completely empty. I called out, "Hello? Anybody working tonight?" But it echoed through the building like I was yelling inside a tomb. That's when I heard it. A soft dragging sound, like something being slowly pulled across tile. I turned toward the produce section, and there they were again. Only now they were facing me. The employee had no face, or rather their face was just a flat, pale stretch of skin with no eyes, no mouth, nothing. And the vest they wore wasn't clean. It was soaked through, as if someone had dunked it in water or blood. I bolted. I left my cart behind, sprinted past the registers, slammed through the sliding glass doors, and didn't look back until I was in my car with the engine roaring. Here's the weirdest part. The next morning, I called the store to report the incident. A woman answered, calm and polite. She told me the store had been closed for renovations since last week. "No employees should have been in there last night, sir," she said. I double-checked my receipt. The timestamp was there. 10:43 p.m., but the store number printed at the top? It didn't match any of the local locations. Sometimes places don't just close down, they get left behind. Back in 2019, I moved to a small town in Oklahoma after college. Quiet place. Barely had more than a gas station and a Walmart. I lived a few blocks away, and it became my go-to for everything, from groceries to boredom walks at 2 in the morning. One of the few perks of a 24/7 Walmart, I guess. There was this old guy who used to be a greeter there. Gray hair, hunched back, real thin, always wore a tie with his vest. The kind of person who made awkward eye contact too long. But he was harmless, friendly in a weird way. Always said the same thing when you walked in. "Welcome back, you were just here, weren't you?" Even if you hadn't been, he disappeared sometime in October. No big announcement or anything, just stopped showing up. I figured he quit, or maybe passed away. I didn't ask. One night, around 3 a.m., I went to grab snacks. The store was empty, no other customers, barely any staff. A young girl was working checkout, headphones in, scrolling her phone. I walked in through the sliding glass doors and felt off. Cold air hit me like I stepped into a freezer. The lights inside were dimmer than usual, flickering slightly, like the whole place was struggling to stay awake. Then I heard it. That same voice. "Welcome back. You were just here, weren't you?" I looked up. There he was, standing by the front carts. Same hunched frame, same tie, same cracked glasses. But something was different. His skin looked pale, too pale, like porcelain. And his smile didn't reach his eyes. In fact, I'm not sure he blinked. I froze. "Didn't you used to work here?" He nodded slowly. "I still work here," he said, and then walked off toward aisle 1. I turned to the girl at the register. "Hey, do you guys have another greeter on shift tonight?" She pulled out her headphone, confused. "What? We don't even have greeters anymore. They stopped that a year ago." I pointed toward the aisle. "The old guy, he just walked that way." She followed my gaze. "No one walked in but you." I felt the blood drain from my face. I walked back toward the front, retracing my steps. No one was there. Not in aisle 1, not near the carts. He was gone. I left immediately. I didn't even buy what I came for. A week later, I saw a framed photo near customer service. It was a small tribute board, employee anniversaries, birthdays, that kind of thing. And there he was, the greeter. His name was Frank. According to the dates under his photo, he died in 2018. Some spirits don't rest because they're still on the clock. If you feel like you're being watched in an empty store, maybe you are. Walmart doesn't always close, and apparently, neither do some of its employees.